Upstairs neighbors of Reddit, why do you rearrange your furniture in the middle of the night? So they can have more room for bowling and wrestling matches. I thought this was common knowledge. Wanna join my upstairs 12 a.m. river dance with tap shoes competition? Ha, river dance meets no holds barred Kumite deathmatch. OMG. I used to live in a house. And then when I moved to the apartment, I just forgot about people downstairs. So it was like 2 a.m. and I decided to drag a table. 'Cause I didn't like its place. My neighbors came and yelled at me. Oops. I am too polite. I get mad and complain, but then I will smile at him when I see him in the building. There was an older lady who lived next door to my BF and I when we lived in an apartment. I guess she was raising her grandkids or something because there was a pack of kids at her house that would scream, play and carry on so badly the walls and furniture would literally shake. Then out of nowhere a baby showed up and would cry bloody murder at all hours of the night. The people that lived under us would nightly come to our door and tell us to shut our baby up. He was so irate I was afraid to answer the door, but I was able to yell and say that the baby wasn't ours through the door. He would walk off in a huff, but I don't think he believed us. We found out later when we were moving out that since we were the only young couple in the building, everyone assumed that it was our crazy kids making all that noise. Nope, still living that no kid's life to this day. It usually starts with an accidental marble drop. You see, I love carrying 30 marbles at any given time at night, and sorry if I'm not perfect and 11 of them fall to the ground and I can only pick up 7 of them before they roll underneath the furniture, so I have to move every single piece of furniture in that room. Monsieur, sorry, I'm not perfect. We get a burst of energy at 4 a.m. to be productive and we start off by moving our furniture and begin a new life. We can only do our murders at night and sometimes our victim is just too heavy, so we drag them, put in the closet and move the closet somewhere so we don't smell the corpse. I hope you understand now. We're very sorry for your inconvenience. It sounds really inconvenient to constantly be getting victims into a not street-level apartment. Does your building have a service elevator? I'm concerned about your back. Yes, you see there's a spider behind my bed and I have to move it 10 meters so I can kill that microscopic bastard who thinks he is rent-free. Yell, scream at it too. Might put some sense in. Hi, monsieur. I had an upstairs neighbor that once thought smashing frozen peas into the countertop to separate them was a good idea at 2 in the morning. Apartments are dumb. They're never peaceful. You just haven't lived in a nice apartment. I've lived in some very quiet, very nice apartments. Or maybe I was just the annoying neighbor. I lived downstairs from someone by accident. It sounded like they were rearranging furniture at all hours. One night, I couldn't take it anymore and went upstairs to confront the monsieur when they opened the door. I asked them if they were rearranging furniture late at night. They calmly said no and told me that they were having some late-night snack at the dining area, which you could see from the front door clearly. All they were doing was pull up their chairs on faux hardwood floor, and every time they got up and sat back down, it sounded like they were rearranging furniture. After that incident, they got an area rug for the dining area. That solved the problem, monsieur. My upstairs neighbors drag chairs across the floor all the time, all hours of the day. It sounds like they're dragging them right across the room too. How does one small family use a table so much? Is my table usage abnormally low? If you can't handle me at my loudest, you don't deserve me at my quietest. Because fuck you, that's why. Are you my neighbor? Hey neighbor, I'll be putting on some picture frames on my wall. 20 of them, monsieur, just letting you know. If I did it during the day, no one is going to be there to appreciate my hard work. Sometimes the couch likes to sleep by the window. You want to deal with a sleep-deprived couch while quarantined? I sure don't. People are restless. You really start to realize how many people are active at weird times when you live in apartments. It's called having relations on furniture. I'm not sure what is worse. upstairs neighbor that walks like he's angry at the floor, or the neighbor whose bedroom window is in front of mine and think that just because he closed the curtains no one can hear he playing his guitar at midnight. What really pissed me off was the upstairs neighbor who thought she could teach him, herself to play the guitar. It was a couple, so I don't know which one did this particular thing. Take lessons, people. I had a next-door neighbor who took lessons, and her practice wasn't annoying. I had another next-door neighbor who already knew how to play, and it was a delight to hear her. But the upstairs neighbor? They just want to torture that poor guitar. One semester, the person living in the door below me played the bass. And by that I mean he played the lines from Seven Nation Army and Smoke on the Water in 3 chords. I was assembling furniture from IKEA. The neighbors were pissed, but I had to sleep in my bed and assemble said bed before I could sleep in it. Lol. You could be third shift. The world doesn't revolve around one person. I had a third shift upstairs neighbor once. I'd hear him at 6 p.m. Monsieur when he got up, and he laughed and stomped his foot while he watched TV. He left the building about the time I went to bed, and he'd return while I was eating breakfast. It was great. It's those second shift people you have to watch out for. They get home in the middle of the night and they're having their evening while you're trying to sleep. Think about how you view that second shift neighbor and then take a guess at how the third shifter views first shifters. Because first shifters are the overwhelming majority. They have no regard night shifters to make room for the tap dancers. 2 in the afternoon isn't the middle of the night. Legit was an upstairs neighbor before. They would stay up, blaring music until 5 a.m. since none of them worked. Then bang on the ceiling at noon because they were sleeping. I ended that real fast. Did you just confess a murder? Technically a tilde would be considered mass murder, since it would be more than one. I'm night shift. I walk on eggshell in my apartment to not be an asshole. I use headphones for everything to avoid making noise. When I do need to do something that is loud, I wait until it's a more normal time, even if that means waiting until I would normally be asleep. When I'm trying to sleep from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., I can't get that same courtesy from my neighbors. I'm not going to go bang on their doors, because I understand how society works. But am I not entitled to equal treatment? I work. I pay the same rent. Essential work takes place at all hours. Apartments are generally lower income and are home to a lot of shift workers. Why can't people just be decent? When I was still military, all barracks had 24/7 quiet hours for this reason. And why can't you just close your windows instead of slamming them closed? That he does as well. Here in Seattle it doesn't get too hot usually, and it gets cold at night. Too many people slam their windows closed when it gets cold. I would take rearranging furniture in a heartbeat. I get fighting with ex-druggy dog-throwing guy who horks up cigarette phlegm at 4:50 a.m. Monsieur. I have to move furniture for my yoga with elephants class. And elephants are nocturnal, so, yeah? I'm not moving furniture. I'm playing with my cat indoor. He has the zoomies. We work until 9 p.m. at night and will usually start playtime after 10 p.m. Monsieur exhaust the cat. Control the zoomies. That's the thing about apartments. A lot of shift workers who keep odd hours. Anyone who isn't on a normal day shift schedule is treated as if they aren't entitled to have a life. And they must tolerate day shift people's noise without complaint. My last downstairs neighbor was an absolute geek, Monsieur. I literally took up tap dancing during quarantine. I would text her before the class and beg her to tell me if it got too loud. She was usually drunk by class time and thought it was hilarious. I was always bringing her baked goods, so hopefully that was worth it. Farah, I miss you, homegirl. We are mad we live in crappy flats and not houses. If I could, I'd live in a cabin in the woods, trust me. If be there, watching, judging, and playing their TVs at sound surround volume. It's frickin' midnight. You asshole. Now that we're on this topic, is there really no way to soundproof our units? I don't know, but they make wireless headphones compatible with TVs now. So if you want to watch that combat movie at 2 monsieur, you can keep the noise to yourself. I want to know about the roller skating I keep hearing. Maybe they just got smart and put wheels on their furniture so they can move it? I'm a vampire, and daytime just makes my fabulous gothic couch look weird. I live in a condo building on the top floor. We do this because we don't realize it makes such loud noise. Also, some of us are night people and are up and about doing what everyone else does in the daytime. Because I'm depressed and rearranging my room makes me feel like I've accomplished something. They just fucking bro. Because I need the rug to roll up a dead hooker. You know your neighbors are having sex, right? He's single, but maybe he has a booty call every single night. If it's sex, it's wild though. He might be killing her. No, that's the neighbors to the left. Every Saturday about 9 o'clock p.m. Monsieur thump 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 thump. I'm a night person and have more energy and motivation at night. Had someone upstairs, a disabled and kind gentleman with a piece of shit for a caregiver, make absurd amounts of noise at ungodly hours. Sometimes I wonder if he's okay or if that devil of a woman is beating and abusing Hi Monsieur. I've told management, but I DK if he's okay a half the time. I try not to judge too quickly, though I do have good reason to make solid judgment about his caregiver. I'm not the only one affected either. Whatever you do, if you value peace and quiet amongst calm neighbors, do not live in a multi-story apartment building in a shitty downtown area. Holy crap, these people have so much drama. I think my BF and I are the quietest people here, even if we blast insulting music at high volume on the balcony to make a statement when some asshat is having a dilemma outside. Lol. I lived on the 3rd floor for about 4 years and I tried my very best to keep things quiet after 8 p.m. weekday and weekends. But the floor in my app would make such very loud noises regardless if it was me stepping on it or a feather. I did, however, had very loud neighbors on the 4th floor. I could hear 2 kids running around early morning, 5 to 6 a.m. almost every day, including weekends. One of the reasons I moved and prayed for a better app with a less noisy neighbor. My new place, I am on the 1st floor, so I can't bother anyone below me. And my upstairs neighbor is extremely quiet, to the point that I can only hear him if it's oddly quiet in my app and she opens the sliding door. Usually so I can make room for tap dancing. But sometimes I'll move it to make more room for my drum set. Downstairs neighbors. Why did you move into a shared apartment building if you expected not to be able to hear your neighbors? Money, honey. I developed a fear of doing things by day. My parents insult and deride me if they actually catch me doing house chores, as I have clinical depression and don't often have TGE motivation to do so. So now I am typically more awake at night, and do most of my chores while they are asleep. My partner and I both work the night shift, so the nights we don't work we're usually wide awake from 10 p.m. to about 8 a.m. monsieur, so this is usually the time when we deep clean the apartment, rearrange furniture. Our downstairs neighbors have never complained, but we've still sent them a couple sorry baskets full of wine and fruit. Hopefully they hate us a little less. Isn't it nice? We night shifters have to feel guilty about living in our own apartments. Yet, we're also the bad guys if we even think about asking our neighbors to keep it down at noon. We work opposite schedules and nighttime during the week is the only time we can be awake together enough to move furniture when necessary. As a counter, I'd like to ask every single group of people that has lived below me why they have to smoke pot indoors, move and triple the legal limit of people, or abuse their spouses. I work for the complex. These instances are backed up by reports and police corroboration over 5 years. So much space for activities, because fuck you. honest answer as an upstairs neighbor who sometimes moves his furniture in the middle of the night. My work schedule is 1 p.m. to 10 p.m., so the middle of the night is the equivalent of my afternoon. I also sometimes move my bed behind my work chair so the dogs can lay behind me instead of at my feet. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.